Live, large, and in charge. Hello, nurse. See, I can say that because I'm married to a nurse.
This is true. Whereas if I were to say that, it wouldn't go over quite so well.
No, not so good. What? See what I got for free from Verizon?
The pad?
Yeah.
Oh, what kind is it?
It's a what's it called? It's a Verizon QMV7B.
Oh,
It's a 7-inch Android tablet.
oh, nice.
So I
What
still
do you
much
think of it?
I still much prefer my iPad.
Oh, okay.
But Android's come a long way since the last time I used it. Oh, hey Paul,
Yeah.
you'll appreciate this.
Oh. Hello, little puppy, who is not little at all anymore.
Easy.
He just wants to give hugs.
I'm wearing headphones. Yes. Thanks. Okay. So nice to see you. Yes. Oh, yes, give the loves. Okay, good job. Mwah. Okay, take him downstairs, please.
Come on, boy.
So I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
This is fun because I get to see it from both angles.
Yeah, exactly, huh?
And I don't have to switch between the two because I can look over here and it's still going on the stream.
Yeah. Yes. He's a sweet dog, but still needs some obedience training.
Yes. Oh, did I ever show you that I found this at a thrift store not too long ago? I don't know how well you can see that.
Rockabye Baby.
Yeah, it's got lullaby renditions of Under Pressure by Queen, Pride in the Name of Love by U2,
my
Empire
goodness.
State of Mind by Jay-Z.
Seriously?
Yeah, Billie
Wow.
Jean, The Beatles Across the Universe, Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, Limelight by Rush, Starlight by Muse, and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me by Elton John.
Nice.
Yeah, they have like individual albums for any one of those artists plus several others that are just their songs put to lullaby versions, but that was like a promo sampler that got somebody donated at some point. I think I have the AC/DC one.
Nice.
Which there's something weird and creepy about a lullaby rendition of Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly like pianos and xylophones. So it's very minimal, but it's super goofy.
That's cool. So Steve and I never connected.
Yeah, I know. Did he text you or anything?
Yeah, he texted me the next day.
Yeah.
So I had to leave even before his set
Oh, okay.
got started. But that wasn't. He didn't text me till the next day because while he was on the stage, he sprained his ankle.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he said so he was back in hospitality the rest of the day with ice on his ankle.
Yeah.
I was like, it's no big deal. I mean, I've got his number now, so when his album drops, I told him we want to try and book him for the Broken Record
Yeah.
to be able to get him on for that. And he's like, yeah, we'll do it, no problem. So
Very cool.
hopefully we'll get a copy of it. Kirk says that the two Steve Taylor videos are pretty good though.
Yeah, I've seen the first one. I haven't gotten a chance to watch the second one.
Okay.
Just because life be crazy around here lately, but
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
I don't know. I pushed on something and then.
Okay, so you're touching things that you shouldn't be touching.
No, I pushed on one of the programs and I went like that.
that's right, folks. Chris Cooner, Dad, DJ tech support.
Okay, hey. If it does it again, I'm gonna be recording, so I can't anymore.
We need to come up with a jingle for you. He's a dad. He's a DJ. He's tech support.
That's right. All of the above, and I'm an office manager too. So
Yeah.
for Sarah's
Easy.
daddy.
Oh, the daddy. That's funny. I don't even think I have my cell phone on me at all.
Oh, I was just double checking to make sure it was on vibrate.
Ding, da, ding, da, ding.
That's the great
vibrate.
thing about my watch is I get my texts and stuff, so I can just look at my watch and see if it's something I need to worry about.
Is it a Pebble?
Yeah,
Oh, fun.
they're down to $99, by the way.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a good deal. Why were you curious about the camera? Were you putting it on your Christmas list?
Birthday.
That's right. That's coming up.
Yeah. So
And
that'll
for
be fun.
was it Christmas that you got the mic, or was it your birthday last year you got the mic?
It was birthday. A birthday, I think.
Birthday? Birthday.
I think so. Or it may have been Christmas. Maybe it was Christmas. I don't know. It's too long ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know. All I know is you started sounding a whole lot better.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what's at the top of my birthday list this year?
No.
A preamp
Ooh.
with a compressor.
So your board has a built-in preamp.
Yeah, but no compression.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the main reason. I want it for the compressor and the limiter. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I gotcha. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll save this for the show.
Okay.
I'll save the story for the show. It was about the movie last night. A comment my Sarah made.
Oh, okay.
So you'll get a kick out of it.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Google Doc. I haven't seen it pop through.
Really?
So maybe
I created it in our shared folder.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't gone to our shared folder, so maybe I should probably do that.
Yeah, it says shared with Chris Cooner.
All right. Well, I'm logged in as Rockin' a Hard Place podcast, Paul Gibson.
Yeah, well, hang on. I can send you the
It's
direct.
too late.
link.
I already hit sign out. You're too late, Gibson.
Of course, I don't want you to suffer. I just want you to die.
I'm Gotham's Reckoning.
Was that the Jim Carrey?
Yeah, it was Jim Carrey as Jimmy Stewart as Bane. That was awesome, eh?
Wow, you pulled that one out really quick. I liked that. That was nice.
Sometimes I can be quick on my feet.
Yeah, that was nice.
Actually, I'm fat. I'm never quick on my feet. So, Sarah, my Sarah is known for saying things in a kind of a mixed up fashion sometimes.
Okay.
She flips words around in sentences or uses the wrong thing. You know, she was trying to say that she was mortified and humiliated, and she ended up saying she was humidified one time.
You're hot, man.
So, you know the store Lumber Liquidators?
Yeah.
She said to me that she was trying to find the store Liquid Lumberdators. And then
That's
the other morning, she was talking about somebody who hasn't been treating her very well at work, and she said it was like she said she was treating me like I was the step-headed red child.
Nice. Although when you say it like that, it almost sounds racist, but you know, yeah.
Okay, I can't load the 10, 11, 14 news. It's erroring. All it's doing is telling me this error has been reported to Google, and we'll look into it as soon as possible. Please reload this page to continue.
Would
And
you like me to copy it to a new one?
I don't know what's going on. I can't get at it for some reason.
Weird. Well, let me try a new one. Maybe it's just being wonky. This one's just an untitled document, but it should be in that same shared folder. See if that does anything for you.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Hey, I actually see that one.
Whoop, whoop. How wonderful.
Oh, the Scott Stapp tour.
I know, it's a little heartbreaking, isn't it?
I was going to meet him.
Aw.
Like, Tim had backstage passes for us for Sacramento.
Aw. I'm sorry.
So am I, dude. So am I.
I dare say that's got to be a crappy feeling to have to cancel a tour.
Yeah, well, he posted some more details on his Facebook page, and he said
Oh.
he had done some shortcuts in his recovery, and I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it was affecting his health, and so he needed to take care of himself. You know, I mean, when you're recovering like that, you can't let anything get in the way of your recovery, because
Yeah.
that's like the first step to,
Recovery.
you know, yeah. Well, it's the first step to no longer recovering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Tim. Okay, my movie's done, so now I can participate. Jerk. Let's see. What time do the Giants play today? I have a feeling I am going to be taking my phone and my charger with me to my kid's birthday party this afternoon so that I can listen to the Giants game.
I'm so happy I don't give a crap about sports. It means that I have so much time on my hands where I might
actually,
not
it's
otherwise.
It's at 5 o'clock tonight. I should be home by then or close to it.
Oh.
Bumgarner versus Wainwright. Man. I hope the Giants pull this off. Ragamuffin, the Rich Mullins bio?
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now.
Oh.
It's in my queue, but I haven't watched it yet.
I didn't know it was on Netflix. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, we should probably get started. I don't think Tom is going to join us today just because of his busy week.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
So we should probably think about kicking it off. Kick it over here, baby pop, and let all the fly skimmers feel the beat.
What?
Do you know what that's from?
It sounds very familiar, but I couldn't tell you what it's from.
It's old school, mainstream.
Uh-huh.
Three guys.
Oh, must be blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Except now there's only two of them left.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess we should think about getting ready.
Sure, whenever you are ready.
Rubber baby buggy bumper, rubber baby buggy bumper, rubber baby buggy bumper, rubber baby buggy bunker.
Yeah, you kind of fell apart on the last one there.
Yep, the last one, but hey, I did it like 6 or 7 times before that.
This is true.
Unique New York, unique New York, unique New York, unique New York.
Nice.
The sea ceaseth and sufficeth. I have
Yeah.
one that could be very inappropriate, so I won't say it. If you screw it up, it's maybe I'll
Teach
share
the
it with
profane
you.
there?
Well, if you screw up, you do say a bad word. So the object is to not screw up.
Right. It's incentive, which of course just
Yes.
makes you more nervous.
Right. Exactly.
Like when I was at this all like hip hop show, and there was one local dude who I was supposed to introduce, and his name was Bigga Boy. And I'm like, if I slip and say something else that's
Yeah.
close to Bigga, that's not Bigga, I'm going to get shot.
So there was a. I was reading an article about somebody saying that this one particular slang term was as bad as, quote, the N-word.
Uh-huh.
And this comedian goes off on this and says, I'm sorry, but that's not true. Because if you can say the other word and you have to say the N-word, then the N-word is the worst word.
This is true.
He's like, think about this. If you
The very way
can't
that you're handling this statement says a lot.
if you can't say one of the words, that's the worst word. Oh my goodness. All right. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, you're.
I think I might burp. Hang on. That's what drinking my coffee will do. Oh, my wife made pancakes this morning.
Oh, nice.
I almost never eat breakfast, but I ate pancakes.
Nice. Well, after this is over, I'll probably make myself a breakfast burrito brunch. But
Nice.
as for now, I'm
love
bashing it
me
because
some-
mine's in friggin' Denver.
Do you ever do like tater tots and sausage or bacon and stuff like that in your breakfast burrito?
Well, I do potatoes quite a bit because I love egg and potato
Oh,
burritos.
so good.
But I don't have any breakfast meat stuff here, so
Gotcha.
it's probably going to be like cheese and salsa and eggs and potatoes.
Well, everything sounds good except the salsa part. Not a salsa fan myself, but
Oh, you just haven't had the right salsa.
no, I don't think any salsa is the right salsa.
But what about a hot sauce?
No,
Oh,
no. I'm not a spicy guy.
Oh, well then never mind.
I'm quite vanilla when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot that about you.
Yeah. Oh, you got to decide when you come out for your birthday
Uh-huh.
what movie we're going to go see.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm taking you out for your birthday that weekend.
Okay.
So you just got to tell me what you want to go see. Maybe we'll
Little-
bring Tim along if he's available. Being married now, his availability is kind of limited.
Yeah. he's gone from just being limited to now limited to because of marriage.
Right. So,
Sorry, Tim. You can take that however you want to. That was just a joke.
whatever you want. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So let's get ready to record in 3, 2, 1. This episode of the Rock and a Hard Place podcast brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Go to tweakedaudio.com and check them out. Use the code HARDPLACE for a You distracted me, you evil man.
But seriously, though, they're good headphones, guys.
No, I'm going to have to start over now.
I was just showcasing the product, and you got all kinds of distracted.
All I saw was a thumbs up, and you're doing this like, hey, you said the name right. I'm going to have to put my hand up and block you so I can't see you.
Okay.
All right. Let's try this again. 3. I'm not stopping, by the way.
Oh, you're not?
Oh.
You are or you're not?
I wasn't. Did you stop?
No.
Okay. Just cut it off before you send it.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Okay?
I'm still recording.
Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. This episode of the Rock and a Hard Place podcast is sponsored by Tweaked Audio. Go to their website at tweakedaudio.com and enter the code HARDPLACE for a 33% discount. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of the Rock and a Hard Place podcast. My name is Chris Cooner. I am a DJ with Broken FM. You are welcome to check us out online at broken.fm. Joining me once again, my good friend. I couldn't do this show without him, at least not on a regular basis. His name is Paul Gibson.
Hey, everybody. It is Paul Gibson from the Christian Rock 20 Countdown. You can check it out at thechristianrock20.com. And Yeah, I also get to co-host this thing, which is always fun. So we
right.
missed you, Chris.
Thank you. Well, you and Tom were supposed to do a show without me last week.
I know we had a extremely last minute doctor's visit scheduled like the night before, so we ended up at the doctor's office Saturday morning. So
Gotcha.
it was kind of unavoidable, unfortunately, but
That's
all.
weird. I don't know of too many doctors who intentionally schedule patients on the weekend. That just seems like a strange thing.
It was like for a lab. It was like for a lab visit.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. All right. Well, I know I was out at Rock of Ages, and all of a sudden I see this thing that's like, oh, by the way, we're not actually doing a show. Tom and I decided against it. I'm like, wait,
Right.
what? You don't get to just decide against it. This is my show.
which when you leave,
It's not my fault I was trying to see some good music. I didn't see much, but I was trying to see some good music.
right. Well, how was the crowd out there?
It was very small.
Oh, that's
it was
unfortunate.
it was by the time I left, which was at about 3:45, Rapture Ruckus was on the stage.
Oh, nice.
And I mean they were doing a fine job, but they were on the stage, and the crowd was, I'd say, less than half of what I've seen in the past.
Ooh.
So they've opened it up and made it a free event in the hopes that that'll draw people. But the
Yeah.
problem is, because it's free, they don't have the money to book like these major bands.
Right.
So they're doing all these little bands that hardly anybody knows of.
yeah.
And then they have like a major headliner. Like this year it was Peter Furler.
Right.
Well, and Peter may be fine, but he doesn't have the same kind of draw that someone like a Disciple or a Skillet or something along those lines. Mercy Me, that kind of stuff. Is not going to have that kind of draw that a major band like those guys are gonna have. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a triplet trio called Red Roots, I think, and they're
Okay.
kind of rockabilly.
Oh, nice.
But their CD may sound good, but their live performance, they were nervous. They were not all in sync. They weren't all in tune. It was one of those things to where you could tell they're probably relatively new to the whole live performance aspect of things in front of large-ish crowds.
Yeah.
And so, they didn't have it where I would have liked them to. They just need to grow up. I mean, is basically it. They need to get more comfortable, get more familiar with what they're doing, and then I'm sure it'll be fine. But, and then, of course, Christafari we have every year.
Right.
Phil Joel we have every year. Stomptown Revival we have every year. So it's like every year I can expect, this certain show with maybe one or two other bands tossed in.
Right. Now, why Christopher and Phil Joel? Why are those two like mainstays?
Because
It just
they
seems like odd choices.
I think probably they do it for free.
Right.
And so they always just book their shows to be in this area. So, I mean, look, I don't want to sound like I'm bagging on Rock of Ages too hard.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a good thing for what they're trying to do, and their main goal is about outreach.
Right.
They want to give you an opportunity to bring unsaved friends and expose them to Christ for possibly the first time. That's
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I get that. But I just think that if you have the ability to do it with more bands that have a larger draw, then it's even more worthwhile.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I get that.
That's just kind of my 2 cents worth.
Okay.
So yeah, I had an opportunity to listen to some albums this last week, Paul, which is a rarity for me lately.
I know. Do tell.
So I checked out Andy Mineo's Neverland.
Okay.
And which is more of an EP than an album. I get that, but
Right.
it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. You remember what my complaint was with Manifest's album?
That didn't have enough low end.
Right. I had to
Yeah.
turn the low end down on
Oh,
Andy
yeah.
Mineo's. I mean, it was rattling my brain in a not good way.
Yeah.
It was intense. I mean, there's a lot of bottom end there with his songs. So kudos to him for that. It's not too
Yeah,
many
yeah.
bands that make me turn that down. And then I listened to Flyleaf's new album, Beyond the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And what a good album.
Nice.
Was not expecting it to be as good as it was. Although I will say there is one song. Let me see if I can grab the album here real quick. There's one song on there. I want to say it's called like City Kids.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some kind of a scream in the background that is disturbing.
Oh.
Like, when Lacey screams, you kind of go, man, that must hurt.
Right.
This scream is seriously like someone fighting for their life.
Oh.
And it's through the back half of the song, or the back quarter of the song, I guess, during the chorus. It just comes out there and in the background while she's singing over top of it.
Right.
And to me, it was like, oh, that is really weird and disturbing, and I don't think I'm a big fan of that particular tone.
Right. Yeah. I think in Tom's review, he said it was awkward.
It was so weird. It seemed unnecessary. I mean, not that screaming has to be necessary in a song, I guess, but
Right.
You would think that like pitch and frequency and longevity, all of that kind of plays into the idea behind it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm, Lacey, when she would scream, it would be on a word.
Right.
And it just, I don't know, it just felt like it was used for some kind of emphasis that I didn't understand.
Yeah, that's hard.
So, but the rest of the album was really good. And I want to, give props to Flyleaf. I had heard many things about the new album possibly being more along the lines of like a Paramore type sound or something like that. And I didn't get the Paramore feel from the album at all. It felt like Flyleaf just with a slightly tweaked sound for the lead singer.
Right.
And she's got a really good voice.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that if they can continue to pull this off, that they will continue to do well. You just have to get over the fact that it's no longer Lacey being the lead singer.
Yeah. But it's still, I mean, and in a lot of ways, it felt like they were able to, just what bit I've been able to listen to the album, it felt like they were able to tailor it to her in such a way that it still kept some of that vibiness that Lacey had.
Right.
Where it still kind of had a general flavor like that without sounding like they were just trying to rip off Lacey's vocal style. And I think that was a smart move.
Yeah, totally. It's the thing, the band itself needs to sound the same. Let's take a look at like Creed with Scott Stapp and Alter Bridge
Yeah.
without Scott Stapp. Okay?
Yeah.
The music sounds similar. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of the vocal being the difference.
Right.
And who was it for Alter Bridge? It's not Chris Cornell. It's
Oh, I can't remember his name.
whoever it is. He sounds different enough to where you know which band you're listening to. But if you remove both of the vocals from both of those albums, they're going to sound real similar musically. Because there
Right.
wasn't much that changed, just the lead vocalist.
Yeah. Miles Kennedy.
Miles Kennedy. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Tim says he's got a line on getting her as a guest.
Oh,
Lacey.
nice.
Lacey.
cool.
So that'd be nice. Well, she's got a book coming out, and I don't know.
A new record, too.
Yeah, she does have a new album, huh? Mark Tremonti. No, he's the guitarist. Mark Tremonti's the guitarist. He's not the lead singer. Nice try, though, Tim.
Yeah. Nicely done.
So that's awesome. And then the last album that I had a chance to listen to was Commodity by Remedy Drive.
Right.
Fantastic album, but do not get it assuming it's going to be a rock album,
Right.
because it is not a rock album. I don't want to say that and make it sound like a knock against it, because it is a very well written, very well sung and played album. It sounds really good. And I would almost go so far to say, as it's a concept album, because every song seems to talk about a similar topic.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's meant to be.
So the album is definitely meant to be listened to from start to finish.
Yeah.
Make sure that you that you do that when you listen to it, and it's hard, when you talk about a concept album like that, to then begin to break out songs and send them individually to radio stations for play. The songs can stand on their own, but you get a much better feel for their placement if you listen to the entire album in and of itself. But that's the kind of, honestly, Commodity is the kind of album that I would say is a headphone album. Get it,
yeah.
Pop on your headphones, kick back on your couch, or easy chair or whatever, and just sit, close your eyes, and just listen to the album. I think you're going to get way more out of it that way than you will just like listening to it in your car and that kind of stuff. But I listened in my car, and I still, I had nothing else going on, so I was able to focus on it. It just sounded really good. And Commodity is a fantastic song. Listening to it, I totally get why it was number one for as long as it was.
Yeah, great
So-
tune. I don't know. I haven't listened to the album from start to finish, and maybe that's the problem. But the album, I appreciate it, but to me, it was, for lack of a better term, kind of boring. Just
Okay.
because it wasn't pulling me into it as much. It felt very much like something that I would have on in the background and maybe not notice as much. And I really like the song Commodity, much like you, and I totally get its success, and I think that they're a great band. Their stuff that's more middle of the road or mellow doesn't ever feel like it grabs me on a personal level, but
Right.
it's not because it's bad. It's just for whatever reason it doesn't do it for me.
So I would encourage you, I've got to get the interview up on our website this week, but I'll send you a copy of the interview. Listen to the interview and then go back and listen to the album, and I think you'll have a different appreciation for it.
Yeah, it could be.
So, his I want to get him on, and I've invited him and he's accepted. I just need to get with him and set up a date for a songwriter session.
Oh, nice. Very
So,
cool.
I talked to him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, just let me know. I'll make it. Let's do it. I'm down." So, hopefully we'll have that coming up soon. As soon as I can get his information and get a hold of him and start to set that process up. So, be looking for a songwriter session with David from Remedy Drive.
Very cool.
So, and then last night, man, it's been a busy week. Last night I went and watched God Is Not Dead, and for a Christian movie, it didn't have a lot of the cheese factor that I was expecting.
Nice.
So
that's good.
There was a little bit of it. We're watching the movie, and at the end, all the good Christians are going to a Newsboys concert. And
As one does.
as is typical. And there's this reporter lady who's a part of the story, and I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. So she goes in to interview the newsboys, and she she knocks on the door, and she walks in, and all of them are sitting there, or standing there, whatever. And she starts asking them questions, and my wife leans over to me and goes, "Is that the real newsboys?"
And to which you just really want to say, well, it depends on how you look at it.
I said, "Yes, honey, that's the real newsboys." She goes, "But they're not boys anymore." I said, "You're right. They're not boys." She goes, "They should call themselves the newsmen."
Only your wife would say that.
I said, "Honey, it's a little late to change the name now."
Right. They kind of missed the boat when Michael Tate came on board.
Yeah,
I mean, that would have been
exactly.
the time, but they didn't do that. So
Exactly. They could have done it then if they wanted to, but they opted to keep the newsboys. But she was very surprised. She's like, "They're not boys anymore." So I definitely got a kick out of that. Oh, she is Captain Obvious sometimes. Oh my goodness. Well, let's jump into some new stuff. It looks like Andy Mineo has a new project that he's going to put out, and it is Mineo.
it is Mineo.
Listen to his album, and he'll tell you it's Mineo.
Pronounce it again.
Mineo.
Mineo.
That's right. So he's got a new project that's going to release in 2015,
That's right.
which sounds awesome. His quote is, "I plan on dropping a new project next spring."
Yeah.
And he happened to win the Dove Award for Hip Hop Rap Album of the Year
Yeah.
for Neverland. And there's a lot of people that are questioning why Lecrae didn't win that album or didn't win that award.
He wasn't nominated.
He wasn't nominated. I don't think Anomaly had been out in time.
It missed the cutoff date, and I think that Gravity was not. I think Gravity was nominated last year, and I think that Church Clothes Volume 2 may not be eligible because it was considered a mixtape, or maybe he didn't want it to be eligible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's all the. Oh, Tim says his wife asked him the same thing. We've got to connect the two of them, Tim. I think they would go very well together.
Be careful what you wish for, my man.
This
when
is-
women conspire,
yes.
this can turn ugly really quick.
Tell me. So congrats to Andy. That is fantastic. We're excited that he's taking off, and I expect a lot more out of him in the future, and I'm excited to see what he's got going on. His stuff thumps, and he's got a great way of writing. He's not your typical hip hop. He's got kind of a I don't know. Just listening to his album, there's this whole like Italian theme.
Oh yeah,
Mazzano's
wildin'.
That's right. So,
I'm gonna take you home and I'm gonna start feeding you and feeding you and feeding you. Then when you can't eat anymore, I'm gonna bring out the cannoli.
That's right. Oh, it was so funny. I'm listening to this and I'm going, what in the world has happened here? Is this still the same album?
It seems to have gone off the rails in a very odd way.
Did my iPad or iPod skip something? I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah, it's a very odd track.
Exactly.
Chewbacca's wildin'.
Yes. Very crazy. Good stuff, though. Go check it out. Andy Mineo's Neverland. If you haven't bought it yet, go get it. It's definitely worth the listen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I'm really sad about this next story, so I can't really talk about it too much, Paul. So why don't you...
Yeah, I was just about to emphasize, prepare to be depressed for Chris, because he's about to get all kinds of doldrumish up in here. Because it was just announced via social media that the tour that was coming up with We As Human, Scott Stapp, has said that he's canceling the tour because of his health. So, and guess who had, emphasis on had, backstage passes to go to said concert when it came to Sacramento? If you were to guess Chris, you would be right.
So, not that I wish anyone ill ever.
But
he couldn't have waited till after November. No, and in all seriousness, he posted this on his own Facebook page. Just I think yesterday, Tim found it and put it on the Broken FM page. He says, "Friends, I wanted to let you know that I postponed the November leg of the Proof of Life tour because I began to cut some corners in my recovery. There are some health priorities that I need to address so I can be the best husband and father I can be. Every day, someone dies because they cut a couple corners with their sobriety. I love you all very much, and I'll keep you updated on the new dates and new music and 2015. Thank you, Scott."
Nice.
So while I am dying a little inside at my missed opportunity, I am fully aware that this is what is necessary for Scott and his health and his family, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Right.
So,
yeah.
In all seriousness, yes, I am sad that I'm going to miss on that opportunity, but it's for a good cause. If he just canceled it because he hurt his finger, then that'd be something completely different. But this is like a serious thing, and anybody who's recovering from any type of addiction anywhere knows that cutting corners is the fastest way to throw you right back into the throes of the addiction that you've worked so hard to come out of.
Right. Yeah.
So, Scott, many prayers going out to you, my friend. Of course, I know you're not listening, but if you were, my thoughts would still be the same. So I'm sad, but, I'm sure we'll have other opportunities. The promoter that Tim deals with really likes Tim and really likes the station. So, I'm sure we'll have another opportunity at some point in the future to get out there and deal with it. So,
Cool.
Tim says his wife actually really liked how positive the comments were on Scott's page. So that's a good sign, too. Not a lot of anger and that kind of stuff. Now, this guy, Steve Taylor, I was supposed to meet him at Rock of Ages last weekend. And ended up, I had to leave early, but he sprained his ankle while performing on stage and spent the rest of the afternoon with his ankle on ice in hospitality. Yeah, that's kind of funny. But that's not the actual story that we're going to talk about because he has a couple new music videos out.
That's right. That's right. You can catch the video for Only a Ride, which was the song that we played a clip from a week or two. I guess it's been 2 or 3 weeks ago now because we weren't here last week.
Right.
So, I mean, there's that one, which is very campy and kind of fun and over the top and crazy. And then there's a new one for a song called Standing in Line, which I honestly have not gotten a chance to hear/watch yet. I plan to today, but have not yet. And it feels so sad to be busy enough to where you feel like you have to make an appointment to listen to a 3.5-minute song and watch a music video. But in any case, you can check it out on wonderingsound.com. And there's also a little bit of a short interview there as well with Steve. So check that out.
Well, and just to give listeners a note, our buddy Kirk, who normally is in the chat room with us, but he's out on a quest working with feeding some homeless folks today. So kudos to Kirk for getting out there and giving back to the community.
Not listening to our podcast.
Exactly. Totally. He had said that he's seen both of the videos and he really liked them. And I trust Kirk's opinion. He's a good guy. He hasn't steered us wrong. He also said he's working on something special for us for next week. So I have no idea.
That I'm very curious about.
I have no idea what that could possibly be, but I guess we'll just have to wait till next week and see what may be going on. So check it out. Yeah. Let me see. It originally premiered on Wandering Sound, which you said already.
Yeah.
So check it out. Standing in Line. And Goliath is the album. Oh, it releases on the 18th. Wow, that's coming up quick.
I know.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. All right. So, everybody's favorite rock awards.
The Dove Awards, where we headbang and we are like, whoa, what is going on and why are we fresh?
Yes. The 2014 Dove Awards took place. Well, this says last night, but it wasn't last night. It was a few days ago.
Yeah.
So
and they have not telecasted yet.
No. So you can watch it on TBN if you get TBN on Sunday at 7. But we can check out the winners if we want to, which we'll take a look at some of them. Artist of the Year, Ellie Holcomb.
Yeah.
Okay. Or that was New Artist of the Year. Artist of the Year was Hillsong United.
Of course.
Song of the Year was Hillsong United, Oceans. Rock.
I want to point out the fact that Hillsong beat out like Switchfoot, Need to Breathe, and Lecrae. I'm a little bitter about that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha. Rock.
And New Artist of the Year, Ellie Holcomb beat out Andy Mineo. That makes me very sad.
That is sad.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm trying, but you keep jumping in there. You ready?
Yeah.
Rock.
So, see, the thing is...
I knew it was coming. I could feel it.
Uh-huh.
Rock Album of the Year. Shall we give the fans a chance to guess? Let's all say it together now. Skillet! So, Skillet's album Rise won Rock Album of the Year. Who were they up against? Switchfoot and...
No, not Switchfoot. That was contemporary rock.
Oh, gotcha. So who was Skillet up against? Do you...
Skillet was up against Scott Stapp.
Okay.
The Almost, Red, and We As Human.
Oh, okay. So it was actually a real rock category then.
Yes.
But of course, Skillet's going to walk away with it. I mean, that's just
because everyone's heard of Skillet. And they're not going to bother to listen to any of the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. And Rock Song of the Year.
Still just one guess.
Skillet with Not Gonna Die. No big surprise there. Rock contemporary album was Switchfoot for Fading West. Huh. Never saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Rock contemporary song, Switchfoot for Love Alone Is Worth the Fight. Never saw that coming.
Right.
Now, rap hip-hop album, Andy Mineo for Neverland. We already talked about that. Rap hip-hop song, KB for 100.
Yeah.
Featuring Andy Mineo.
Which, by the way, that song, the 100 song, you can actually grab for free off of Noise Trade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. And then KB is also the rapper who is in the breakdown for Berserk.
BZRK.
Yeah. BZRK, really? Berserk.
BZRK going
Yeah,
out
but
of
it's-
control.
Berserk.
Making digital gold.
Crack your back like a chiropractor. Okay. Short form video, Mercy Me for Shake. Never saw it.
Yeah.
Long form video, Switchfoot, Fading West.
That was deserved.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Having seen it myself, I agree 100%. It's a fantastic documentary. And actually, Tim was telling me, and Paul, you said it's on Netflix. He was watching Ragamuffin, the Rich Mullins bio,
Yeah.
and said it's really good. Tim said it's really good. So it's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, check it out. Ragamuffin, the Rich Mullins bio. I'm going to have to go check it out, too.
Yeah.
Because he was a pretty awesome guy. And then, of course, inspirational film. I don't even know who else was in this category, but it was God's Not Dead is what actually won.
Well, it's connected to the Newsboys. It
Yes,
can't lose.
exactly.
Which, by the way, I just want to say one more time, can't stand that song. Drives me nuts. So I'm just gonna throw that.
You're
out
not the only one. My pastor's wife said the same thing. There's part of her reason she can't stand it, though, is because that whole phrase about living on the inside, roaring like a lion, she's like, that just gets stuck in my head and I cannot get it out, and that drives me batty.
Yeah. For
Oh,
me, it just feels like a terribly written song.
Well,
But that's me, and that's my opinion.
Totally.
Just opinion. But yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, really? Please? Well, and then I found out the Newsboys didn't write it. Then I felt slightly better, but I was
Right.
like, really? This is a big deal. Why?
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know.
And last but not least, of course, recorded music packaging. I'll give you 3 guesses, rock fans. Who has the best packaging on their rock albums?
Oh. Could it be? It could be.
Demon Hunter Extremist.
Woo! Oh yeah.
Is that
Those
the
guys
which
know how to do
edition
it.
is that you have there, Paul? Is that
This is like the super deluxe edition, the one that has vinyl in the back.
wow?
Which I've yet to actually put a needle to. But yeah.
That doesn't look big enough to have the whole album.
Yeah,
On
well
vinyl.
it's a 45.
So it has it on both sides.
Well,
The whole
it's
album?
only got a few bonus tracks. It's not the full album on vinyl.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So it's just like it's some exclusively vinyl tracks.
That is a very cool looking book.
Yes, it is. Although now I can't get the vinyl back in there.
Oh, he broke it.
Uh-oh. If I scratch this while I'm doing this, I'm going to be so mad.
You might want to set it aside and do it when you can focus on it a little better. You're going to pull it out and you're going to find that the label on one side of the album has started to peel and it's sticking to the jacket.
Do you ever watch Bob's Burgers?
I have not.
Oh, there's
I
one
have
character
not.
who just goes, That's how I feel right now. So
That guy must get paid a lot of money to do that voiceover work.
Oh, the guy who does
Yeah.
Oh, it's a girl, but still.
Well, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, she also talks, but whenever she feels uncomfortable and uneasy, she's like,
Okay.
Anyway.
Let me see. Tell us about LA Symphony there, Paul.
Oh my goodness, LA Symphony, the best Christian hip hop group, I would say, for me at least. Man, such a legendary group, and they were signed by Steve Taylor, but their album that was supposed to be released on Squint Records never actually came out, and was part of the reason why Squint Records was taken away from Steve, because the guy who owned the the umbrella label that Squint was under was like, really? So we're doing hip hop. Let me listen to it. And to which Steve said, excuse me, I don't think you are the type of person who would know the difference between good hip hop and bad hip hop. This doesn't seem like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I respect you as a person, but do you listen to hip hop? And the guy was like, no, but I want to listen to this if we're going to be putting money into it. And Steve was like, no, just trust me on this. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that, of course, went down the rabbit hole in a not good way. But they have recently reunited to start working on a 15th anniversary album. Now, they've been broken up for a while. It's been a good while. But their collective members have come back together working on new stuff. And then they put up all of their discography on their website for free. Like every album they've ever done, independent, signed, didn't matter, including the one that was due to be released on Squint Records that never actually saw the light of day. So
wow.
You can grab it, and there is some tasty goodness on there. And this is a little clip from one song for those of you who have never heard LA Symphony. All their stuff sounds a little bit different because there's I think there's 6 or 7 MCs, so they all have very different styles. But here's a little clip of a song from them called 21st in Vines. See what you think. Although it would probably help if I actually routed the sound from that.
Yeah, typically, in order for us to hear it,
yeah,
it's got to be sent
yeah. Well, let's
over the podcast.
Yeah, no. Well, life is like a box of chocolates.
We do this show live, folks. We do it live, just so you know. It's all live. It's not canned.
Yes. So, so it's coming up. Hang on. I've already got it switched over. The sound is routed correctly, and I think we should be in good shape. Now, let's give this another shot.
Shout out to all the homies who hang out, working all the angles, walking with God. In shame with an aim to bring change, making our own game, doing our own thing like the JBs, simple and fresh, that's what makes me profound as the wise, rich as a king, ruler of the rhythm that this anthem brings.
MCs in the place say yeah, DJs in the place say yeah, break dancers in the place say yeah.
So there's a little clip from LA Symphony. That's 21st and Vines. So anyway, but yeah, check it out. There's a lot of good stuff on there. And if you are a person who was at least familiar with LA Symphony because of their work that they released through Goatee Records, I would venture to say that the stuff that was unreleased was better. And this is no knock against Goatee. I don't think it had anything to do with any decisions that Goatee, asked them to make or made for them, anything like that. But definitely their older stuff was, I would say, a step above for me at least. So check it out if you haven't gotten a chance. Go to their website. The website is LASymphonymusic.com.
Cool.
So there you go.
All right. Your Skype is starting to act up a little bit.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah. It decided to poop on that song a little bit. So I heard parts of it, and what I heard I liked, but I didn't get to hear the whole thing.
Okay.
So just so that you know what's going on your side of things.
All right. Okay.
Let's see.
Such is life.
Yeah, well, and that's typically the way that it works. So you know how it goes. Now, let me get my little news article thing back up here. The Letter Black is in the process of writing a new record.
Yeah.
And as long as it doesn't have things like fire with fire, I'll be fine.
See, I feel sad. I never got a chance to hear their last one all the way through. I liked the single, and I liked what I heard, but I never did get a chance to hear their last one all the way through, but for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the album itself is pretty good. It's just, I don't know, certain aspects of the way that she sings. And it's not that she's a bad vocalist. It just certain ways that certain things are said for certain people drive them batty. And that was one of those things.
Yeah.
Personal preference. That's all it boils down to. What do we got going on with the rock and worship?
Speaking of personal preference, this should be relabeled this year as just the
Worship Roadshow.
Yes, I do not see the rock end of this year's Rock and Worship Roadshow at all. Because in past years, I mean, there was always somebody that you could point to and be like, yeah, I don't care about anybody else, but yeah. And this year, they have Mercy Me headlining, no surprise. They have Crowder, Matt Mayer, Jamie Grace, Group One Crew, I Am They, John Guerra, and speaker Sean Groves, and then Tadashi. Tadashi is the lone light in this tour for me. Everybody else, I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, Group One Crew could be fun. It's kind of going to be weird to see what they're going to be doing now because it's one original member, and then it was originally a trio. Two of the other people left to do other things, and then he brought in like 3 or 4 new people. So now it's like a full band somehow.
Should it just be called One Crew?
Or just group.
Or just, yeah. Group Crew. Oh, man.
But I mean, the draw of it is it's $10. They also have VIP tickets, but I mean, if any of those bands interest you, I mean, obviously it's a great price for what you're getting if that is your bag, and I'm sure it would be fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can very easily get pulled into live music. Even I'm sure I could even find things to like about watching Mercy Me, but just as far as a draw to get me to it, this year it ain't happening for me. So.
No, I hear you. That's certainly not one that I would be super excited about going to see myself either. So, Tadashi would be interesting to watch. But the rest of them just, You
have to wonder, like, is Tadashi going to be like, feeling like he's left out somehow in this tour? I mean, I just picture him just kind of like hanging out by himself, listening to stuff on his Beats headphones and just kind of chilling because everybody else is off talking about, the new Hillsong album or something. It just feels like this would be a weird group for him to be in.
You wonder if they bundle them like this to try to get the Tadashi folks out to come and see some of the other things, some of the other bands and stuff like that. But music genres are real specific for a reason. There's not a lot of stuff that crosses the boundary. So if you're really big into Tadashi, the odds of you wanting to go see a Jamie Grace or a David Crowder or a Mercy Me pretty small.
Right. Like, I can see a Tadashi fan, maybe One Crew, depending on what direction they've taken.
Yeah.
But still, it's a stretch.
Yeah. No, totally. Well, this next song, this next news piece, I'm tempted to play our little tune, Paul.
That would be funny. Kind of wrong, but funny.
So
it's only funny because I know what's coming. And everybody else is like, why is that man laughing?
Yes, exactly. We have word that something has happened with Family Force 5.
Yes.
And we are kind of wondering if it's the beginning of the end for some aspects of Family Force 5. They landed a #1 hit on the Hot AC and CHR charts with Let It Be Love.
Yeah.
Now, kudos to them for getting to #1. But the last time this happened to a band, they were Cutlass. And then they left us.
Yes.
So, I don't know how to feel about this.
Right. It's like I'm happy for them, but yet I want to slap them at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, so the odds are pretty good that they will try to create possibly more music along this line to up their standing, which I get.
Yeah. It will put food on the plates, don't get me wrong.
But how much does this potentially change Family Force 5? That's the question that I have. And, only time will tell as far as...
time does not stand still.
Right. As far as what the answer to that is.
Yeah, and I have a theory about this. I have a theory, and this could be potentially a topic for a whole nother show. But very quickly, I want to run this theory by you. When I interviewed Chapstick about this record, and I said, I hadn't at that point I had not heard the record. I said, a lot of people are wondering from the song, your song that you got now, this one. Let It Be Love. A lot of people are wondering if you guys are maybe going to go a little soft on this. He's like, oh no. This album has got lots of heaviness to it. I'm like, okay, well that's cool. So I'm thinking this is going to be like the one song that's like that. And then I hear the record, and it's kind of half and half for the most part, or at least in thirds. I mean, got kind of the R&B tracks. You've got the ones that kind of feel like they could have been written by Soul Glo and could have been done by Soul Glo on a different record, and you wouldn't have noticed the difference. And then you've got the ones that are like Let It Be Love. And he was so nonchalant about how heavy parts of this record were, and he made it sound like this was very much a Family Force 5 record, and most people would just be totally on board with it. And maybe Chris, you and I and Tom are in the minority on this, but I wonder if from a band mindset, when they're talking about a record like this, what they're thinking in terms of is people aren't going to notice very much difference, because when we play live, at least half or more of our set list is still going to be the old stuff, which is still really heavy. Those songs are still going to get performed. We'll still probably play a couple of the new aggressive songs like BCRK and maybe like Raised by Wolves or something. And then we'll probably throw in Let It Be Love, which he has told me is heavier live. And then maybe like one or two of the poppy songs. So from a band perspective, there's still that band that is doing all this, because live, it's still going to be very much business as usual with just a couple of new songs that might be more mellow, just more mellow for the live versions than maybe their other stuff was.
Right.
So it doesn't feel like they're mellowing that much. But for us, we're sitting here listening to Time Stand Still and going, this album is such a harbinger of doom.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just, well, here.
Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
See, and this is the thing. I am, I'm not saying that Family Force 5 will break up over this.
No, probably not.
That is not. I'm saying that I think what we could potentially see is them shifting their focus more to the pop, hot AC, CHR side of things. I mean, let's face it. No matter how little we want to admit this, rock is in the decline, and pop is where everything is right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you
for
can
a certain
deny it
degree,
all you
Christian hip hop is. Too,
well,
but
yeah, you
still.
can deny it all you want, but the fact is that's just the way that it goes. I mean,
Sales numbers don't lie.
things cycle, you know. And it just
And us headbangers are in the decline.
Totally. I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, I mean, when Gene Simmons from Kiss comes out and says, rock is dead,
Yeah.
everybody kind of goes, really? And then, you know, I start to think about statements like that. And he's talking from a mainstream perspective. And honestly,
Yeah.
when's the last time a rock song in the mainstream did really well?
Yeah, it's been a while.
When's the last time you saw a new rock band take the city by storm?
Yeah.
You know, and we've had this conversation just around Broken FM as rock does not generate money as far as for radio stations concerned.
Right.
We don't get advertisers with rock. We don't get a lot of underwriters with rock. We don't get a lot of just donators with playing rock.
Right.
So there comes that point where you begin to think, okay, so we've done this for 5 years now. We're not making money at it. Not even, and it's not a matter of we want to make buckets. We want to make
Right.
enough to be able to maintain the bills that we have.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't get paid. Tim doesn't get paid. Nobody gets paid. And at the end of the day, there's still not enough money to pay all the bills sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Paul, you give the Christian Rock 20 away to, what, 40 some stations now?
It's in the mid 30s.
Okay, but still.
I mean, it's a lot of work that I've been having to give away for 6 years now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long time.
It's one of those things that there's no money in it. And again, it's not about making buckets. It's about being able to afford to continue to do what's done. So there comes that period where you've got to make the change to decide. So did Family Force 5 do this because that's where they felt led, or did they do it because financially it makes them more sound? Either way, I don't fault them for it.
Right.
I don't fault them for it. I'm just sad to see that there is the potential for this to move into something else.
Yeah. Which the one thing that I think that old school Family Force 5 fans can take some solace in is if you were a fan of the more danceable Family Force 5 stuff that came out right before this record, Soul Glow is putting himself out there in some huge ways on producing other people's tracks and doing guest vocals. And I don't doubt at all that it probably within the next 6 months, we're going to get word that he's going to release kind of a phenomenon album, like one that's going to be kind of what Chainsaw was and what some of the other tracks were. That will be just him. And I think that for a lot of us, that will be just this glowing ray of hope for being able to hear what we would kind of consider in a way to be new Family Force 5 stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what he does, but he's definitely putting in some work.
Well, you were saying that you listened to his show, and you said it was kind of
Well, he
kinda
as
different.
a radio show host, now you have to understand, this is coming from someone who went to school for it, who has a passion for radio. I've always liked radio. I'm not as big of a radio nerd as some people I know, but I really like radio, and I feel like I can kind of pick out good and bad hosting. And there's something that has happened every time that I have heard someone who is a music DJ, not a radio DJ, when
Right.
they start to do stuff on radio, that I'm like, you know what? I bet you could rock any house party within an inch of anyone's life. But as a radio show host, I'm like, dude, stop talking and play more music.
it's so
So
funny.
I mean, Soul Glow's an awesome dude, but yeah, his hosting skills, he's going to have to hone a little bit. But his music
Yeah.
making, without question.
It's a very different animal DJing for a radio station than it is DJing for a live house. Because DJing for a live house, that's going to be way more music focused
Oh yeah,
than DJing a radio station. So
Yeah.
when I tell people that I'm a DJ, I make sure that I tell them I'm a radio DJ, because the
right.
live house DJ is just as much a DJ, but it's a different skill set. And so I want to make sure that people are clear, no, I'm on the radio. And, you know, while I can DJ a wedding, because there's a similarity there,
Yeah.
DJing a dance party is a whole other level.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's your Dead Mouse and your Skrillex and all of that kind of stuff. That's a whole
Right.
different ball game. So just understand that. Understand that. Best of,
and I dig Soul Glow's chops for that. But yeah,
Totally.
I don't know. But yeah, if you're listening to his dance show, which is coming on, which you can look up online and find out more about it if you want to. But I mean, the music on it is great. It's quite fun and enjoyable, especially if you're into electronic dance music. You'll dig it. But if you're like me, whenever he comes on to talk, I'm like, this is interesting, but and at the same time, it's almost like watching a train wreck for me personally. You know, it's like anything where if you have a very definite skill set and then you watch somebody else who doesn't have that skill set try and do it, if your personality is anything like mine, it irks you. It's like watching someone try to play a video game that you've already beat. You just want to look at it. Oh, don't go through that door. That door leads to the dragon. No, don't do it.
That's how I feel when I put the video game controllers in my daughter's hands. You know, because I enjoy like playing the Lego games, the Lego console games and stuff. They're so much fun. So Becca wants to play with me, and she's trying to run the complete opposite direction of where I am. So it's one of those where when you're on the screen together, it's fine. But as soon as you begin to move one way and they move the other way, it splits the screen and does this weird, and she can't figure out, I can't move any farther forward because she's too far the other direction. And it's like, no, Becca, come with me. And she's just trying to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's
This sounds like me and my wife playing Legos, and she gets frustrated with me. I don't get frustrated with her, but she gets frustrated with me. She's like, come on, we need to move this way. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. I'm just trying to explore the area and make sure I get all the little tiles and stuff. All the little gold chits so that I can make sure that I get, hero at the end of the level.
Right, yeah.
Oh, my. Well, let's talk about something good.
Yes, let's do it.
Tweaked Audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thank them for sponsoring our little show. We appreciate their willingness to take a risk. If you're looking for a pair of headphones, can I encourage you to go take a look at tweakedaudio.com. They have 7 different styles, 7 different colors, something for everyone. If you like the in-ear, if you like the over-the-ear, they've got you covered. If you like the kind that just rests inside your ear, or you want something that's noise canceling to shove down inside your ear canal, they've got that as well. Do you need a microphone because you want to be able to use it with your cell phone? They've got that too. They've got it covered. Tweakedaudio.com. Check them out. It's got comes with a lifetime warranty, which you don't hear about lifetime warranties very often anymore. No. So, lifetime warranty and free shipping. And when you check out, if you use the code HARDPLACE, all one word, they will give you 33% off of the price, and we get a cut of that.
Yeah.
How awesome is that deal? Now, Paul,
Yeah,
you've had them
sure.
for a
And
while
also,
now.
something else real... Oh, yeah. I
No,
have.
well, no,
I'm
go ahead.
good.
Real quick. Tell.
Oh, just real quick. Also, something that I forgot to mention before when I was reviewing the headphones, they also come with a handy-dandy little cloth pouch
Oh, nice.
that you can put in, at least that you can stick it in, and it closes. It's not only got the little side pulls that you can pull it, but then there was an extra string or whatever you're going to call it on the inside that's sewn to the inside that comes out, and you can put it around your neck. And I
Nice.
thought, I've never even seen that done before, but it's a nice high quality cloth pouch. You can stick your earbuds in. So if you want to shove them in your pocket and you don't want your, the little plug to scratch up your phone or whatever else you might have in your pocket, or you don't want your keys to jack up your headphone cord or whatever, you can stick them in that pouch, and then they're kind of protected, and it'll keep them in good shape and all that good stuff. So
Excellent. Good deal. So you still like them?
I still am enjoying them. The ones that I'm using now, of course, are the ones that are kind of like the old school Apple style for the most part, but they work real well, sound really good. They got the flat cord, got the inline mic, but for the most part, I use the ones that are the actual earbuds, and use them when I'm at work all the time because I can usually have earphones in and listen to podcasts or music or whatnot while I'm doing my thing, and then when I'm on the road, my Bluetooth head earpiece thing has had like the little pad for it that's supposed to keep your ear from getting all jacked up. It had melted because it was that silicone stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I hadn't been using it. So I've just been using my my Tweaked Audio headphones to make phone calls and whatnot, and that works quite well. So
Good deal.
I like it.
Good deal. Excellent. So tweakedaudio.com, like we say, check them out. If you enjoy them, we hope that you definitely do. Lots of great stuff there to check them out. They're supposed to sound good for podcasts as well as music. They're not overly bassy, which is what I hear. They kind of do well in the mid-range of things. So it depends on what you listen to. If you like the sound of Beats, you probably won't like these just because Beats are way overbassed. And these are also a lot cheaper than Beats, which is a good thing. You can save some money and help out this poor little podcast at the same time.
And then also, if you are a big fan of the bassy stuff, just know that they can generate a good amount of bass, but they're not just naturally going to do it. So you may have to go into the settings on your iPhone or whatever, and just tweak the equalizer settings to generate a little more bass to begin with. Because when I listen to hip hop stuff on the in-ear ones, they bang pretty good.
Oh, do they?
But for beats
Good deal.
or some skull can.
Yeah.
So yeah, big.
Good job. Awesome. Your Skype is really
Very cool.
breaking
Awkward
up.
silence. Love it.
Well,
Yeah.
your Skype is
Oh, is that
breaking
what's going
up. So it's like I'm trying to make sure you're done before I talk. So
I'm done.
okay, good. I know Kirk has a pair of the Naturals, and he seems to be enjoying them so far. I need to double check with him and just make sure that he still likes them very much. So once again, tweakedaudio.com. Use the code HARDPLACE and enjoy a good pair of headphones for a very nice, inexpensive price. And like I said, lifetime warranty, free shipping. You can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Today we are going to talk about the radio edit. Now, for those of you who may not know, the radio edit is one of those things that we may get sent to us every once in a while with a particular song. You'll actually see it a lot more often on songs for like K-Love or Air One, to where some of the rockier songs will send a radio edit that's been remixed. You'll also hear some songs that may have parts cut out of them. You like the song on the radio and you go and you buy the album and you're sitting there listening to it and you're going, wait a minute, this is different. Why is this different? So the reason that I decided to bring this up was we have a submission email at Broken, and every once in a while a band will send us music. Sometimes it's really great and we love it and we can't wait to put it on the air. Well, Tim and I got a new submission on Monday, and we were checking it out, and at first it was like this piano intro piece, which wasn't bad. But as Tim and I are listening to it, we're like, okay, we're 15 seconds in, and all we've heard so far is piano.
Yeah.
And then we're 20 seconds in, and we've still only heard piano. Now we're 30 seconds in. Oh, there's some guitar. Okay. Oh, this actually doesn't sound too bad. This may, yeah, okay. Now that I stuck it out, I kind of like this. So I sent an email off to the guys who sent us the song, and I said, look, guys, I love the song. It sounds really good. You guys got a great thing going. But I said, I'm going to trim the piano off the front of the song.
Right.
Because when you're in radio, you got to think of the overall, like, who is going to be listening to this on the album. It was one of those. It was one of those things. How do I want to describe it? Had I not decided to give it more than 30 seconds, I would never have heard the song for what it could have been.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
totally.
It was one of those things that I opted to continue listening. And I know we've gone through this in the past to where we've said, on average, you have 15 to 30 seconds to really impress somebody who's listening to your song for the first time, especially when it comes to radio. I'm trying to see if I can find the email that I sent to the guy explaining to him what was going on, and then he sent me an email back, and I want to be able to read it to you, but of course I didn't have it pulled up in time, so now we have to wait. Now we have to vamp a little bit. Okay, so I sent him this. I said, hey guys, Chris from Broken FM here. We like the song and we'll be adding it to the rotation. We're going to make a minor mod to it and start it at the first guitar and drop the piano. That section's a loss leader with our audience. We get what you're going for, but we have to go with what the average listener wants, and that's going to start at the first guitar lick. For the future, when submitting music to anyone, make sure the whole song fits well, and be sure to make the first 15 to 30 seconds count. You almost lost me with the piano intro because of how mellow it was. Something told me to hold on, and I'm glad I did, but not many will. Dive right in for the first impression and then make your next song the one that we have to wait a little on. We can usually tell a lot about an artist in the first 30 seconds, and most other stations are the same way. So with all that being said, we'll add it, and we'll let you know. He sent me this email back, and he said, "Thank you, Chris. Sounds good to us. Me, personally, I'm not a fan of cutting things down, for it could make the song lose the dynamic feel. In general, a lot of rock bands nowadays do not know how to be creative anymore. Yeah, not every song is going to have the slow build-up intro. Not every song is going to have the slow build-up intro. Majority will be out of the gate. And from what you mentioned, I know you understood where we were going within the song to capture something massive. I know what you mean as a radio edit based on audience of the radio station. Every station's different. We were, as a band, looking for all the Christian rock radio stations in the States to send our song to, and very glad you stuck it out and want to add us to your list."
Yeah.
So, like I said, I get what he was going for. He wanted that mellow intro to be the build up and for the guitar to kick in. On a CD, you can get away with that all day long.
Right.
But when you're talking about radio, it's got to be just like that. Bam.
Yeah.
It's got to hit you. Bam. You cannot delay the gratification, because here's what happens. Piano comes on a rock station. Oh, what's somebody else playing? Click, click,
Right.
click, click. Dun-dun-dun. Oh, that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad because, I mean, on one hand, you get the whole like, oh, well, this is an artistic choice. You don't want to, dog on their artistic license. But there's also the factor of, well, wouldn't you like people to be able to hear most of your song rather than not hear it at all?
Exactly. And see, that's the part that I was hoping to try and help him understand. And I mean, I think he understood. But at
Yeah.
the same time, there's still this, I really don't like that you're cutting our song. Well, okay. And that's fine. I get that. You can not like that I'm cutting it. But if you tell me not to cut it, I'm not going to play it.
Right.
And that's the decision that we have to make as the radio folks in order to make sure that our station sounds as complete as it possibly can.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, hey, for those people who maybe are somehow not getting what we're talking about, it's not just independent bands who go through this, and it's not even just CHR versions. Red, their single "Run and Escape," which was their one that was a new song off of their release, The Panic Recalibrated, sent two different versions of their song. There was the album version, which sounds like this, and we're only going to play the beginning of it, but this is what it sounds like. Here we go. And for those of you paying attention, the song has been playing for 7 seconds now. We're at 25 seconds and it's just now getting interesting. Okay, so there you go. The guitars kicked in at 32 seconds.
Yeah.
This is Red. They just got nominated for a Dove Award off of a re-released record. This is kind of considered the creme de la creme of the Christian rock industry. And that is the album version of the song that was sent, but then there's also the
radio edit,
which sounds like this. This is, once again, directly from the beginning. This is how the radio edit begins. So it's still got the little before it actually goes, which is cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're like me, I kept both versions handy because when I'm producing my show, sometimes I want to have 30 seconds of something to talk over, and that's just as good as the next thing. It's going to go straight from a promo or a sweeper or something else in between songs directly into the next song. There are people who are going to be turning up their radio trying to figure out what happened to their radio.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we have to trim stuff either off the front or the back, or, because we use the automation software. all radio stations nowadays. We have to send a signal that's called an EOM, or end of music. And so when we put a song in, we have to go through and listen to the tail end of a song. And when it gets to that certain part of the song, we hit the space bar, and that sets where it'll allow the next song to fire over top of it. So these songs that have these super long outros, like a really long fade or a really long sustain at the end of the song, it's our job to have to decide, where do we cut that off? If I'm driving in my car and I've got the windows down or I've got the AC on, and I listen to that intro from Red on the radio, I'm seriously turning my volume up going, is the station still on the air? Did the music stop? Did something happen? What? I don't understand why I'm not hearing anything. And then I'm going to start to get that build up and go, oh, okay, well, I'm still going to have my volume loud, thinking that something's wrong. And then it's going to hit me in the face with the dun 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 dun, and I'm going to be like, turn it down. Be like the guy from the Maxell commercial where the wind is blowing his hair back, and stuff's like sliding past his chair. So I mean, there's aspects of the radio edit that are important. Tim got a phone call from one of the ladies that has been promoting the Disciple single.
Right.
And she was talking to him about, this song isn't tracking well. Like, it's not doing as well as a Disciple song should.
Yeah.
And so Tim had the guts to say, well, it's possible that it's the worship breakdown in the middle.
Right.
And she goes, you think? And he said, it's about the only thing I can think of that could be technically wrong with the song. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But for the audience in radio, there's something very specific about what they are looking for.
Right.
And so she said, well, maybe we'll have to submit that as an idea for a possible radio edit. And then they could re-release the song. At this point, that song's been out long enough to where I don't even think a radio edit at this point would salvage what they were trying to do.
Although, you want to hear something crazy, which I'm sure Disciple will take as they were right all along?
What's that?
This past week, guess what spot it went to on the charts?
Did it make it into the top
take
5?
Like this past week. It made it up to like number, let me see, I'm trying to find it just so I don't say it wrong. It went from number 19 to number 3.
Really?
Yeah, 16 spots overnight. Now, the newest chart just came out, and it's already dropped from number 3 to number 8. Okay. So I don't know if that was just a blip or what, but still, I was like, whoa. I was like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think part of it just had to do with the fact that that was the week that the album was released, and I'm sure there were a lot of people who were really excited about it and been seeing a lot of extra promotions about it, and so there were probably a lot of people calling up and requesting it, and and we as DJs tend to talk about stuff that just came out and whatnot. So I'm sure that there was some fluctuation in part due to that, which usually is the case with a well-known band. It's like he'll be doing okay, then the album will come out, then all of a sudden it gets a big boost, but not usually that big.
Yeah, no, that's an unusually high jump for something, especially having been out as long as it has been. But I mean, you got to think about the other songs that were in, even the top 10 at that time, and how much play they were getting. And so when you see a jump like that, it's one of a couple of things. Either a bunch of reporting stations have decided to add it, or it's that time where you had a block of, say, 7 or 8 songs that are starting to fall, and so they get dropped off the charts, and that gives Disciple more play within a rotation.
Right.
I mean, that's...
And I think some of it did have something to do with, there were a good number of songs that necessarily didn't fall off the charts, but definitely dropped down. So that they, whenever one's else, that means they're above.
Right.
It
right.
works like that.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing about charting, is you could never really understand how the charts work specifically. I mean, it's this weird algorithm they use, but it's based off of plays and other songs that are there. And I mean, for our charting purposes, we stay pretty consistent with how many plays each song gets.
Right.
but that's intentional because we want to make sure we maintain that type of rotation. We don't want anything to be too hot so that you're sick of it within a week or two's time. We want to be able to have the longevity so that you're not tired of it when it's time for it to drop down into the mediums or the colds. But the radio edit does play an important part of that. So that's one aspect of the radio edit is where you'll actually clip out parts of the song and get it so that the song is shorter and sounds a little bit tighter. What's another example of a radio edit that you can think of, Paul?
Well, of course, the classic when people thought of radio edits, I think even before maybe even the Christian market bothered with such a thing, was just the idea of getting rid of profanity that you couldn't play on the radio. And that was a big thing when I was working, in Top 40, and still is now, but I'm not working obviously at a Top 40 station now.
Right.
But you would get new songs, and especially if it came from a less than normal source, you would sit down and you would listen to it all the way through because you didn't want to have those 3 or 4 words that you just really under no circumstances would ever have in a song. And so I mean I think that's more or less a huge thing for radio edits. But I mean, obviously length is a big thing, or and like you said, having some parts chopped out that doesn't affect the length necessarily, like getting rid of some screams or getting rid of a rap part. Sometimes there'll be a rock song that has like a hip hop section, or even a song that's a CHR song that'll have a hip hop section, and they will chop that out because they don't feel like that the radio programmers may play it if it has to have that there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those are some other just minor examples, I guess. Mainstream usually think radio edit is as chopping out all the wordy dirds that you don't want going off your airwaves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know we use a back end program called Play MPE. That's how a lot of labels distribute music to us. It's rare that they will send us a CD of a single. It does happen. It's just kind of weird. We're like, gee, thanks for the coaster.
Right.
And but what we will notice is that a song that is going to bridge the gap between multiple genres. Let's take the band Fireflight, for instance. Dawn had a song not too long ago that was really popular on the rock side, but it was also popular on the AC side. Think K-Love when we say AC. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the adult contemporary side, it was really popular. But what we noticed in Play MPE when we brought the song up was they actually had the album version, and then they had one that was a radio edit, but it actually said radio edit K-Love.
Uh-huh.
So we played the two side by side. Tim and I were like, what in the world? We played the two side by side, and in the K-Love radio edit, you almost could not hear the guitar in the background.
Right.
So they had taken the album and remixed it so that the vocal and keyboard and drums were up higher and the guitars were actually pulled down so that they were very, very much less heard.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So when you think of a radio edit, it could be something like you said, where you're chopping out a hip hop part or doing something like that. But it also could just mean a remix of the song in order to make it more palatable for more stations, for more genres.
Right. Now, the thing that I find most funny about that is usually you can't buy that version online.
Right.
And it's not going to be on a CD. Which kind of seems stupid to me because I don't think when you upload an album to iTunes or Amazon or anything else, I don't think you pay per song. I think you pay per album. So
Right.
It seems like it would make sense to just have both versions. Most people know how to delete stuff from their hard drive if they don't want it. But it seems like it would be a good idea for them to make that available in some way because I mean, K-Love is a huge audience.
Right.
And I can guarantee you that a lot of them will go and buy the song. And I have to wonder, I would love to just be a fly on the wall and sit and watch 100 K-Love listeners hear the real song from somebody like Fireflight or Red or any of these other bands that have radio K-Love edits.
Yeah.
And be like, oh my goodness, I feel wrong all of a sudden. What is this mess? This is like heavy Christian killing music. I don't understand. The
Yeah.
words are the same. Why do I feel guilty?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it could also just be the whole, ooh, I kind of like this better. Now I
Yeah.
need to find a different radio station that doesn't play this stuff. You know, that's always a distinct possibility of losing listeners when it comes to that. It's the radio edit serves a purpose for a lot of different reasons. You know, I guess I would ask you, the listener, do you appreciate the idea of the radio edit, or would you rather just have the song the same way it is on the album?
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Which there are radio formats that are like called album formats that they do not play radio edits. I mean, they play the full original version specifically to cater to the audience that wants it that way. They're very careful to not talk over intros or outros. It is you hear something, then you hear something, you hear something, then you hear something. There's no crossfading anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's such a niche market, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's a niche market. Of course, rock is becoming a niche market nowadays too. So we'll definitely have to see what happens in that regard. Oh my goodness, very, very cool. Lots of stuff. Let us know in the comments, or hit us up on Facebook and talk to us about whether or not you prefer your radio edits. If you like them and wish they would release them outside of just being on the radio, or whether you would want them to to actually not play the radio edited version on the radio and just do the album version. Everybody's got an opinion. We'd like to hear what it is that is yours.
Very cool.
Good deal. Now, we don't have a review from Tom this week. He was busy doing the pledge drive for UCB Canada this week. And I found out today that we don't have a stew from Paul.
I think the stew may be over.
Oh. Well,
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be something that'll come back when I get inspired. But I'm thinking that a stew may not be as normal of a thing as it used to be. What
might we be replacing it with?
Well, I'm not quite sure what to call it. I really don't. Well, we do a thing with some bands when we have them do an interview on the Christian Rock 20, and we call it Listeners Also Bought.
Okay.
This is not Listeners Also Bought, but it also does utilize iTunes in a way to hopefully make an interesting trivia question. So what I did was I went and found an album that I know you would be familiar with.
Okay.
That is probably in your upper echelon of albums that you just really dig, especially from this era. And I'm going to read you some of the listener reviews. And they're all short. I want you to see if you can figure out what album it is via multiple choice.
Oh, wow.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
Are you up for this?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Okay, so anytime the name of the album or a song or a lead singer, anything extremely specific, I'm just going to replace it with like a pronoun like the band or he or the song. So just know that going in. Okay, so here we go. And some of them I will tell you what the name of the actual review is because you can put a title on it. And some of them I won't because some of them are too specific. But here you go. Here's one. This one says, excellent, 5 stars. I've been a fan of this band since 1982. I have 11 of their albums. By the way, there is misspelled, which is unfortunate. This is simply an outstanding disc. 5 stars all the way. Great arena rock with catchy hooks and powerful ballads. Lyrics are uplifting and encourage us to draw closer to our Heavenly Father. All right?
Okay.
This next one, I'm not going to tell you the name of the actual review, but it is by Guardian Angel 5000. So the reviewer is...
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, says, it feels like you're going to heaven listening to this music. I thought the singer was an angel of music connected to my inner senses. This album shows the power of God through Christian rock.
That's a bit disturbing imagery.
Now, the best part about that is, how many stars would you assume a review like that would have?
I would think it would be 5, but I'm guessing, 3?
4.
Okay.
I want to know what this... I'm assuming it's a girl.
Right.
I want to know what this person says in 5-star reviews. This one, the lead singer is an angel lifting them up to God.
But only a 4-star angel.
Yes, but evidently it wasn't Gabriel. It was one of the lesser angels. Anyway, okay, so this one is not so positive review. It says, I seriously do not believe how this fresh crap can pass as rock and roll for some people. They have this baby singer who can't even sing below middle C. God smite these singers today.
Wow.
I was like, what? I'm like, that just is so blatantly mean.
Wow.
Oh man. And unfortunately, I can't actually I can't copy and paste these. So I'm scanning through it looking for the other one that that I found that I wanted to read to you because it won't let me copy and paste these into a document. I think that's just bull. But you know, what are you going to do? Here we go. This one's good. My first exposure to Christian rock. This band, this album, and I was ecstatic to find it again. The music is as awesome as I remember it in that way that only an early 90s hair band can be. If it's your thing, this band, definitely the band to go with. So, anyway, now it's also a 5-star review titled 90s Christian hair band rock. Anyway, okay, so here's that I think would probably be enough information to get you there.
Okay.
You're still going to have to do just a moderate amount of just straight up guessing, but
Right.
is it Guardians Power and Love, Bride's Snakes in the Playground, Petra's Beyond Belief, or Striper's Against the Law?
Yeah, see, you put Guardian and Striper both in there, and that is where I am torn between those two. I was thinking Striper, and then you read one of the reviews, and it made me think Guardian, because, you know, of course, the name was Guardian Angel.
Right.
But then you you put the one in there about the singer not being able to sing below a middle C.
Right, yeah.
And that kind of leaned me back towards Striper.
Oh.
But then I don't see how Against the Law actually brings people closer to God because that was their attempt at a secular album.
Okay.
Okay. My gut says Striper.
Okay. I'm going to read you one last final review, which will totally answer the question for you. One of my favorite overall albums, Beyond Belief, contains songs supported by flawless vocals, backed by strong guitar hooks, and colored with keyboards. The style is dated, but the songs maintain relevance with timeless truths. If you love the 80s hair metal and want a good overall introduction to Petra, this is your album.
Oh,
Favorite
my
tracks are Creed,
goodness.
Beyond Belief, and Seen and Not Heard.
Seriously, that was those were Petra reviews?
I know!
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I just love the whole. It's like the lead singer is an angel that lifted me up to God. 4 stars.
Yeah. Yeah, total. Oh my goodness. That's funny.
Which, by the way, you can purchase that for $9.90 on iTunes. We get nothing for that. Still
That
here.
was honestly one of my favorite albums.
I figured it would be. It
Yeah.
seemed like that would be kind of in your wheelhouse on that.
Beyond Belief was a really good album. I felt like they stretched themselves really well in doing an album that was kind of middle of the road rock ish. You know, but it sounded really good in my opinion, and I loved the lyrics especially. I thought for all of their songs were very good.
Oh yeah,
So definitely worth it. Well, that's cool. We'll have to do that again.
yeah.
We'll
So I'm
have
just
to
gonna
do
have
that
to
again.
keep on trying to find stuff that would be because I want to do albums that I know you would have heard, which
Yeah.
does limit it a little bit, just based not only on what you have heard, but what I think you would have heard.
Right, totally. Well, and that's we'll switch it up every once in a while. Maybe I'll go through and pull one out for you once in a while, and
All right,
we'll
sounds good.
we'll put it on you to try and figure it out. You know, iTunes reviews are awesome, and you can actually leave one for this very show if you would like. If you go into their podcast section and click on our show, it'll give you an opportunity if you subscribe there to leave a review, and we would appreciate it. We've been sitting at 18 reviews for quite a while now.
Yes.
And we appreciate the feedback, positive or negative. Let me be clear on that. If you like the show, great, leave a review. If you don't like the show, great, leave a review. Let us know what it is that you'd like us to make different and do different, and we are more than happy to try and grow in our knowledge and experience and what we think you as listeners may like to hear. So check that out. If you want to contact us, you can email us, rockinahardplacepodcast@gmail.com. You can also check out our Facebook, facebook.com/rockinahardplacepodcast, or you can just go to the website, rockinahardplacepodcast.com, and that has all the links to all the different ways you can get the show, to listen to the show, as well as you can leave comments and things like that on the postings that we do. You can check out past versions of Tom's review as well. It comes in the podcast feed, but you can also listen to them right there live on the website if you would like.
Sounds good. Well, hey, it sounds like we're wrapping up, but if I don't do a noise trade pick, Tom is going to be thoroughly
Yes,
impressed.
okay, go right ahead. Do the noise trade pick. We'll end on a positive note.
There we go. Okay, two quick things. One is a new full-length album from an artist I had not heard of before called Chanel. Now, some people may have known her as Ms. Reality, which, you know, that's another name. I wouldn't really say that would be like the name that I would have chosen for anybody, but yeah, you know, hey. Anyway, so
you don't want to be known as Mr. Reality
no,
with a Z,
Not-
Mr.
Mr. Not so much. But anyway, it's a full-length 13-track album. It features some guest production by JR and oh shoot, I just totally forgot his name. Where'd it go? DJ Official and a few other people who a lot of people will have heard. So, I mean, there's a lot of good different styles of production on here. The closest thing I know to compare it to would maybe be Missy Elliott. But anyway, I pulled a clip from a track called Crazy featuring D-Mob, and it'll give you a little bit of a taste of what this album sounds like. But if you felt like that Christian hip-hop needed a female presence, well, then this will help, because I always kind of have thought that as well. And most of the ones that I heard that tried, I was like, maybe you should do something else. But anyway, see what you guys think about this.
Crazy vibe, crazy. Why you looking at me all crazy? Never see the chick and no shame in the game on flame. Bit of high life, no kush, no drain. Open the hood, we push the slang. Shoot to your black rock roll with the cane. Straight from the heart to the dog with no sport vibe. Stop, nah. I'm unashamed of what the name is. Hype chick, make it a famous. Promo, do it solo, making sure that they know who you came with. Get turned up, cranking. Face looking like something stankin'. You see that type, we lit us on.
Face looking like something stankin'. I got that stank face. Yeah. Anyway, so that's Chanel. You can find that on her album on noisetrade.com called By Design. As always, it's free. If you want to donate to her through Noisetrade, you can. But there's some good tracks on there. You know, once again, it's free. Check it out. See what you guys think. And totally the opposite direction of that is a collection of songs from a group called Young Oceans. This is probably considered praise and worship music, which I know I've had opinions on in the past. This is a very different take on it, much like is becoming popular in the praise and worship underground. Anyway, but I think you guys will like this. It's very atmospheric. It's called Lead Me. You can find it on Young Ocean's collection, which features 10 songs from various albums of theirs. But see what you guys think of this. This will give you kind of a good taste of what they sound like.
And may we sing among angels. For you alone can break the curse of
Very dreamy sounding, but I
Yeah,
like it.
ethereal.
Ethereal. There we go.
Yes.
Ethereal. So, and sometimes they do have some guitars that do actually have a little bit of distortion, but they're most definitely not what you would consider to be a driving rock band. But, you know, they have kind of a cool atmospheric, ethereal sound.
Cool.
And you can check them out on noisetrade.com.
Awesome.
Young Oceans.
Cool. That sounds good. I like it.
Yeah, you're. Sweet. Well, that's all I got. I'm done now.
Okay. Oh, just two today. Just two.
Just two today.
All
Just
right.
two.
All right.
I could have
Awesome.
had more, but just two. But I also got to tell you that the entire discography from LA Symphony was out there, so I
Yes.
can kind of consider that part.
That
But
is
since we
true.
talked about it in the news section, I had to play it then. You know, had to
That's
get
true.
that.
Not a problem. I understand exactly where you're coming from. So good stuff. Good stuff. Well, guys, we do want to say thanks so much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Check out our sponsor, tweakedaudio.com. Buy some headphones. We could use the help. We also have our Patreon page. Still haven't gotten anybody to sign up yet. But the idea behind the Patreon page is if you feel that there is value in what we do, you can give back to us through the Patreon page to help us continue to do what we do and get equipment that might break or whatever the case may be. It helps us add more to the show and just helps us out a little bit financially at the same time. So we're going to continue to keep giving the podcast away. That's not changing. So there's no worries about us, like stopping doing it, whatever. But if you feel this show is a value, then try and figure out that value, translate it into a couple of bucks if you can. Hit the Patreon page, and then just drop us a line. You can pay as much or as little as you want. So you can do $1 an episode if you want to. You can do $1 a month if you want to. That's completely up to you as to how you work that out. And if you're capable of doing that, we'd greatly appreciate the assistance for sure.
Absolutely, and also that's one of those things where you set it up kind of on your card,
right?
Because it's an online thing, and then if you set it up to do like $2 or $3 a month, mind you, that doesn't sound like much, but if you want to do a small amount and it comes out automatically, you're never even going to notice that you're doing it. But you can remember every time you listen to the podcast, you can be like, I help support that
exactly,
and every little bit adds up and helps us make it better.
And we would love to be able to partner with you guys in that way. And make you feel like you're a part of the show in a very important and real sense. So if you have the ability, fantastic. If not, keep listening because we're going to keep doing it no matter what.
That's right.
We would just love the help. Well, folks, I think that is going to do it for us today. I know I've got a kid's birthday party that I got to head out to. Yes, my own kid's birthday party. So,
nice.
Thanks so much for listening. I'm Chris Cooner.
And I'm Paul Gibson.
We'll see you next week. And hit stop.
Did and